Welcome to our strategy series. My name is Allie Adler, and I'm an educational specialist at the Kennedy Krieger Institute. I work as part of an interdisciplinary team in a day rehabilitation program for children and adolescents with a variety of diagnoses and conditions, including acquired brain injuries. This video series will focus on providing educators knowledge about classroom strategies to help children and adolescents who have sustained a traumatic brain injury and may struggle with attention, memory, executive functioning, and emotional regulation. Those are just a few of the areas that may be more challenging after a TBI. Unfortunately, there are other areas that we don't have time to go into during this series. This overview will hopefully be a starting place for many of you, and with the knowledge you have gleaned here, we hope that you will feel more empowered to help a student of yours optimize their potential in the classroom. In this segment, I will be discussing attention and strategies to consider using in the classroom for students with attentional difficulty following a traumatic brain injury, or TBI. There is not a lot of evidence-based research on attention strategies in children who have sustained a traumatic brain injury. Most of the strategies discussed in this module are based on informal, diagnostic, clinical work with students following brain injury. I hope you will find them as effective in working with your students as I have in working with my students. There are a number of evidence-based computer programs that are used in a rehabilitation setting, but will not be discussed here as the focus is on school functioning. Despite the fact that our brain is an incredible organ, it does not have the ability to process all stimuli in our environment at the same time. According to Kasuki and Konstantinidis, attention is the process of selecting the most relevant stimuli to process while filtering out less relevant information. Conceptually, there are two ways we process sensory information. There are two forms of attention, bottom up and top down. Bottom up is automatic, an immediate response to stimuli, such as a loud noise. Top-down attention is a self-induced attention, and it allows one to voluntarily process as it is relevant to current goals. This is a metacognitive skill, allowing one to choose, select one's attention to focus on a feature or object in order to accomplish a goal. As Carrasco describes it, stimulus-driven versus goal-oriented. Both bottom-up and top-down attention require direct attention to an object or location to evoke neurofiring to that activity at that moment. For the purpose of this presentation, I am going to focus on top-down attention, which is what is constantly required in a classroom setting. However, for students with difficulty in this area, we can use highly automatized bottom-up attention by making the information sensory stimulating and grabbing to help the student automatically attend to the desired object. Top-down attention is a higher level skill that is often closely paired with other cognitive tasks, such as processing speed, memory, organization, and initiation. There are four key areas of attention: selective attention, divided attention, alternating attention, and sustained attention. Selective attention is the ability to choose one stimuli over another, the ability to block out certain stimuli while focusing on another, such as listening to a conversation in a restaurant while with competing sights and sounds. This requires one to ignore distractions. Divided attention is the ability to attend to more than one environmental factor at the same time. In truth, we seldom are able to pay the same amount of attention to both things, and one task may be more automatic than the other, such as listening to the radio while driving or talking on the phone while cleaning the house. We generally use the term multitasking to describe divided attention. Alternating attention is the ability to switch your focus from one stimuli or activity to another. This task requires cognitive flexibility, as one will need to shift from one task to another and then back again. This skill is required when a person may be reading a book and then answers the phone and then returns to the reading, or when one is reading a recipe, carries out the task and then returns to the recipe. Sustained attention is the ability to focus on a particular task for a continuous amount of time without being distracted or being able to return to task if distracted. This task is required throughout the day on a job or in school. Some examples include reading a book, completing a worksheet, or writing a report. Sustained attention is frequently referred to as attention span. Attention is the entranceway for cognitive tasks. One needs to be able to attend to the directions to complete the task. One needs to be able to attend to the lecture in order to remember it. One can think of attention as the base for all higher level cognitive tasks. Individuals who have difficulty with attention following brain injury may manifest a similar presentation as a student with a diagnosis of ADHD. However, there are several distinct differences. From a neuroanatomical standpoint, there is a distinct neuropresentation for individuals diagnosed with ADHD, while in individuals with attention difficulties following TBI, there are not the same findings. While attention is thought to be primarily mediated in the frontoparietal areas of the brain, issues with attention are present among individuals without damage to that particular area. Additionally, difficulty with attention following a TBI can naturally improve over time as part of the overall brain recovery. Individuals with a premorbid diagnosis of ADHD may display heightened or worsening of attention difficulties following a TBI. Individuals with attention difficulties solely related to the injury may not have an ADHD diagnosis. Rather, they may be diagnosed with a cognitive disorder secondary to the TBI. In presentation, though, there are many similarities with attention difficulty following TBI and attention difficulty secondary to ADHD. Difficulty with attention following a TBI will negatively impact the student's ability in the classroom setting. A student with difficulty in selective attention may present with the following challenges. They may be easily distracted, have difficulty remembering what is said or what is needed to be done, become off task and can't self-return to task, difficulty following rules. A student with difficulty in divided attention may present with the following challenges. The student may become easily confused. The student may not start a task. A student with difficulty in alternating attention may present with the following challenges. They may only complete one task when presented with a series of tasks. For example, the student may listen but not take notes. Difficulty with change in the schedule routine may be presented. Difficulty attending to new tasks, such as they may be stuck on the previous task and may present as perseveration. The student may make off-topic comments because they haven't switched tasks. A student with difficulty in sustained attention may have the following challenges. They may have difficulty attending to a task for more than a few seconds or minutes. They may have difficulty with increased length and complexity of language because they have lost their attention. They may not complete an assignment. They may start it and lose their sustained attention and may not complete the assignment. They may appear spacey or forgetful. They may demonstrate inconsistent performance. A student with difficulty with sustained attention may have difficulty following conversation and lecture and in working independently. A student with difficulty with attention may present as if he has higher level cognitive deficits. In truth, the student may have difficulty with higher level cognitive tasks as well, and it may be challenging to parse that out. However, we always need to start with attention. Attention is at the base of cognition, and difficulty with attention will impair higher level cognitive tasks, such as memory, organization, initiation, to name a few. If one cannot attend to what is needed, then they won't remember what to do because they did not attend to the direction and content. Therefore, the first step is to address attention. So what can we do to help our students with attentional difficulty? There is pharmacological treatment, there's cognitive training, and there's classroom-based strategies. So first off, pharmacology. Research supports the use of pharmacological intervention to improve attention for students following a brain injury. There's also cognitive retraining, which research supports specific tasks to help improve the attention of a student following a TBI. This is typically completed in an outpatient rehabilitation center. However, there are games that could be used in a school setting that specifically target attention, including memory, Spot It, and I Spy books. The third area of intervention is strategies. This is the key area for you as the teacher to help your student attend and stay focused. You can refer to this section as the ABCs of addressing attention difficulties in the classroom. So how do we assist our students? So A is for accommodations. There are a number of accommodations that we can help our students with that struggle with attention difficulties. We can direct the student's attention to task at hand, explicitly state what is needed. We are going to read a page 1. We can reduce distractions, both auditory and visual stimuli, keep the work environment simple, and provide headphones or study carrel as needed. For some students, we need to clear the desk of everything except the one thing the student needs for the task. Sometimes it's needed to wait to put anything on the desk until it's time to start the task, because they may be busy attending to what's on the desk rather than listening to the direction. It's helpful to teach a skill until it becomes automatized, which will require less direct attention to complete. You can help the student with organization in order to provide them with a framework to attend the task. When they're cognitively overwhelmed and distracted and disorganized, it's going to have a hard time, they will have a hard time attending. So clearing the area, helping them stay organized, can help them focus on the task at hand. Break assignments into smaller tasks to maximize attention span. This could entail less items, less clutter, focus on the main information. It's been found very helpful to provide a copy of notes so the student doesn't have to juggle between tasks. Provide written directions along with auditory directions. Teach one concept at a time. For example, if there's a required reading for a book that discusses 3 storylines for your student with an attention difficulty, you're going to have them just read one storyline at a time. Encourage the student to read the directions out loud and self-talk steps of the assignment, and that helps keep them focused and attend. Number steps of tasks to help the student attend to one at a time. You can use pictures and motivating topics and activities to promote that bottom-up attention. So this could include a loud voice, changing your voice, using a catchy picture. Again, that's going to tap into that bottom-up, that automatic attention. Include the student in the class discussion. That will help keep them involved and attend. Provide review and overlearning for the times that they did not pay attention, and this will help them complete the task. Reduce language complexity. If the material is too challenging, it will be difficult for the student to attend. Limit the amount of information being presented at once, both verbally and visually. So in terms of our ABCs of attention strategies, B stands for behavioral intervention. Some behavioral intervention that you as the teacher can do include providing the student with breaks. Maybe they just can't attend that long for the entire session. Make sure to provide them with breaks, and that will allow them to focus when they need to. Frequently check that the student is on task. Just because they are quiet does not mean that they are doing what they were supposed to. And just because they're not doing what they're supposed to doesn't mean that they're a behavior problem. It just could be that they weren't properly attending. The student may have gotten off task and doesn't know how to return. Another behavioral intervention is when attention is really getting in the way of the student completing what they're supposed to. It will be important to complete a functional behavior assessment and then a behavioral intervention plan to document what is needed to address the attention difficulties in the classroom. In terms of our ABCs, C stands for consistency. When the routine is predictable and structured, it provides the student with greater opportunity to know what is expected and when direct attention is needed. The strategies need to be completed consistently by all providers throughout the day. D is for direct instruction. Teach your student what it means to pay attention. This can include a written description or a picture. One approach in terms of direct instruction for teaching what attention is to teach the necessary tools for paying attention is SLANT. The S stands for sit up straight. The L stands for lean toward the speaker. The A is for ask and answer questions. N is for nod yes or no. T is for track the speaker with your eyes. This method gives the student a concrete understanding of what it means to pay attention. And the student can have this document on their desk. It could be on the wall. This could be a group lesson, how to teach paying attention. But it also provides this one student a direct means to understand the steps for what it means to pay attention. The E in our ABCs stands for environmental cues. Provide verbal and visual cues. This can entail a finger sign, a tap on the desk, an attention card, or a help card to remind the student to pay attention. Using a visual timer to give the student a visual understanding of how long they need to work on a task has been found helpful. Use a private signal to remind the student to stay on task. Use a laser pointer as you're instructing to illuminate what the student should attend. And as well, when the student is doing some independent work, use a reading window to help the student remember to attend to a specific place in reading. Cue cards on the desk can be helpful. A question may include the following: am I paying attention? What should I be doing? Again, a visual environmental cue to remind the student to attend. F stands for functional impairment and functional solutions. So we're looking at, as a teacher, we're looking at attention as a functional impairment. It's getting in the way of our student to do what they need to do. So we're going to try some functional solutions. You can make the instruction real and meaningful. This could be done by connecting it to an overlearned skill. This can also be done by making the task real and meaningful and highly motivating. As stated earlier, incorporating that bottom-up attention will make the top-down attention easier. Teach through multisensory instruction. Make the lesson captivating. Make the material relevant. This can include you acting, drawing, and visualizing, or it can include the student acting out and drawing and visualizing. G stands for goals. It's very important to ensure that the student understands what the goal of the task is. What should they be attending to? What should they be doing? Tell the student you're going to ask them to repeat the direction to help encourage them to let them know that they need to attend. And then following the direction, ask the student, so what do you need to do now? Goals also include ensuring attention concerns are documented on the IEP in the form of a goal. If we have this functional behavior assessment, or even if not, if attention is getting in the way of instruction, we need to make sure that it's properly documented on the IEP. And lastly, H. H stands for help. Teach the student to ask for help. A reminder could be a raised hand on the desk. Also, help stands for, very importantly, you, as the teacher, should know where to go to for help. Attention is such a fundamental skill that it is imperative that it is properly addressed. If the strategies are not working, come together as a team to figure out what to do. Maybe we need to reduce the required length of it the student needs to attend. Maybe the content is too complex. And the list can go on, but it will be important to complete an observation, identify what is not working and why. So in summary, in order for attention strategies to be effective, we need to remember to implement the ABCs: accommodations, behavior intervention, consistency, direct instruction, environmental cues, functional solutions, goals, and help. It will be important to ensure the strategies are provided on the IEP as an accommodation and also as a direct goal. This way, we can collect data and monitor its effectiveness and slowly fade out adult support as possible. The strategies will need to be implemented across the day with staff trained in its proper use and implementation. Teachers play a key role in helping students with TBI succeed in the school environment. The school team must work together to develop a comprehensive plan based on the student's strengths and weaknesses. With careful planning, it is hoped that your student will overcome their cognitive challenges through direct intervention and accommodations.